welcome back to Access Anime. I'm Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough review of Ixion Saga Dimension Transfer Episode 6. Now, if you remember from last episode, it was mostly a filler. We really didn't go anywhere within the episode, but it was devoted to Mirandel, mostly, although they loved making fun of Cone and messing with him. You see Icarlet and Sanglion coming up with these really wild stories that throw Cone off. So it was a hilarious episode regardless of it not going anywhere. But again, that was last episode, and this is a new episode, so let's dive right in. And again, I'll keep my comment and my rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right in. Now, we open up this episode, you see a pyramid in like a city type background, and you see a couple guys, would appear to be guys that are talking about Dukakis and being the most skilled in their sorority. Now, I hear sorority, I think, is this like a frat sorority thing where the sorority has a bunch of women? No, it has another meaning for it. But, sorry, I digress. They're also talking about Icarlet and what would happen when she reaches the capital. And they also start talking about Cone, how he's a Hyperion, and they know nothing about him. Now, you're probably wondering, what is this group called? And they're actually a religious faction. They're called the Olga Religious Sorority. So that was kind of interesting. So now we know what religious faction that Dukakis actually works for, or at least is associated with. Now we're taking to a kind of a different scene. We're still within this pyramid, it looks like, with this Olga religious sorority, and we're introduced to a new character. His name is Gorge. You want to say George, but there's no E at the end, so it's pronounced Gorge, and that's how I'm going to keep pronouncing it. It's Gorge. Anyways, he's a prisoner. He's being held against his will, and it looks like he likes to do assassinations and whatnot because he's hungry for meat. And we see a guy come down the stairs, and apparently he is a priest. We don't know what his name is, but apparently he wants to hire Gorge, set him free to eliminate Icarlet, or at least everyone within the group, and to take Icarlet prisoner without killing her. So that was kind of interesting. Now, kind of toward the end, while he's in prison, he kills two of the guards. Now, we don't see them die, but he picks them up. So this guy means business. He is a lowlife per se. But on to the next scene. Now, next scene, we see Cone, Icarlet, Sanglion, and Mirandel, as well as Pet, and they're on their way to, it looks like, an inn or a hotel. Now, they're talking about reaching the capital just before they get to the inn. And you hear Mirandel, she tells Cone he might be from Alvidia. So I have no idea what Alvidia is, other than it's a castle in the sky, which is what Mirandel says. So it is a castle in the sky. Now, what Cone really wants to do is, once he reaches the capital, hopefully there's a way to get to this castle in the sky, Olivia, and he wants to talk with someone called the Ixion, so he can be able to be sent back home. So that's his goal right now. Now, while all this is going on, Gorge has caught up, and he's in the background. Now, you see Gorge a lot kind of in the background in most of these scenes, but he's not doing anything. He's just kind of scavenging around, waiting for the right opportunity when it gets dark out to jump everyone. Now we're taken to a different scene. Everyone's finally, like, they're at the, not a hotel, but they're at an inn. So they're not at the capital, they're at an inn. And you see Mirandel, she says there is something wrong with Icarlet. Now, we'd have no idea what's wrong with Icarlet. Like, you expect, oh, she's got a disease or something. No. And then you see, I guess, Icarlet and Sanglion. I don't know what happened there. I guess you hear Sanglion go off and start talking about a few things. And what he's talking about, Cone jumps in. It's like, oh, it's a cowlick. That's what's wrong with her. You see everyone outside of Icarlet's room, and no one's going to go inside. Everyone's freaked out. They're saying, well, this happens to Icarlet every so often. It only happens to the royal family. And you're like, huh? I thought she was on her period. Be honest, I thought that's probably what it might be. No. Now, Sanglion is freaked out. Mirandel's freaked out, so this is serious. And apparently they go in and they rush Cone out. It's like, wait, what are you doing? You don't want to see this. We see, like I said, we hear the word cowlick. Cone says, oh, you mean the hair sticking up, that one hair? Yeah, the cowlick. Oh, then Sanglion's like, so that's what you call it in your world, a cowlick. It's like, come on, in reality, a cowlick? Really? That doesn't mean anything. Of course, I really don't have any hair, so I can't complain. But that was funny. He's like, a cowlick. So it's like the hair standing up, that's the reason. And then we hear Mirandel kind of, I believe it was either Mirandel or Sanglion start to describe that in the royal family, these people, when their hair starts to stick up, they have hyperactive periods. So that's what it's called, a hyperactive period. So I have no idea really what that means. I just thought it was another way of saying you have PMS, but she said it was within the royal family. Both men and women have it, so it's called a hyperactive period is what she's having. Now she has to have all this food, so you see Mirandel, she's the chef, and she's cooking all this stuff out. They literally take all the food within the whole inn, the whole hotel they take, and Sanglion gives the owner this big chunk of gold, like a little coin, big coin, not a small one, and says, yeah, we're going to take everything out, and for your safety, don't let anyone else in this hotel or inn. And Mirandel throws Cone out with Sanglion to get more food. And so they're out, they're going to get more food and go shop. And again, you see Gorge in the background, and he's planning what's going to happen. So he's like hanging by a tree, he's planning it out. Because you know he's going to do something. Because he has to assassinate everyone within the group and take Icarlet hostage. Apparently that's what the priest from the Olga religious sorority assigned to him. Now I don't know if there was more to that or not, but that's all we actually know right now. Now we see a different scene where we see Sanglion, and he starts talking to Cone. They're in this little carriage about he's never seen Icarlet with 3 cowlicks, but when she has 3 cowlicks with 3 hairs sticking, 3 little hairs on her head standing up, that all hell will break out. You know, all hell. I keep saying it wrong ways. I apologize. You know, like all hell will break out. So it's supposed to be like D-Day technically. So I have no idea what that means. But you know, 3 hairs. Ooh. But and again, he says he's never seen her with 3 hairs before. But again, we're taken back to the inn, and food's being devoured by Icarlet super fast. This woman's putting it all down in her stomach, and poor Mirandel. Her hand's gone numb, so she like straps it up to like the little carving knife or whatever, and she starts going at it. Like, wow. Now, apparently Icarlet, she has 2 cowlicks now. 2 of her hairs are up, and she tells Sanglion to call. Well, Icarlet tells Sanglion to say meow after each sentence, and he's kind of freaked out, but he's like, okay. Then she tells Pet to pretend he's a bird. So you see this flying squirrel pretending to be a bird. And again, she didn't say anything to Mirandel, she didn't say anything to Cone, so those 2 got off scot-free more or less. And you also see a little information about Sanglion. He ends up, because he doesn't want to say meow, but he says it at the end, we find out he's graduated from a university. So in this time period, in this anime series, he's gone to a university, so he's a college grad. And he was also part of the he was part of the Aldoria Knights. I hope I pronounced that right. It's spelled A-L-D-O-R-I-E. Eldora Knights. So again, that was just a little brief background on Sanglion that we got to see in this episode. And again, Pet has to act like a bird. He can't even understand English, and yet somehow he's pretending to be a bird. Now we're taken to another scene where we see Cone, and it's go time more or less, where we see Icarlet. He like burst into her room, and he wants to know what the heck's going on, so he's trying to set Icarlet straight, and everyone else is saying don't. Like, everyone's freaking out, don't talk to Icarlet, don't go there. He walks in and he says, the amount of food you've been eating, you know, this must be a growth spurt. This is what he comes up with. I mean, I probably would have come up with the same thing, but anyways, he's like, this is a growth spurt. But apparently he he's trying to explain everything to Icarlet. Like, you're being so hard on everyone else, and this isn't even your money. You didn't even earn this money. You should be nice to these people. You know, you shouldn't. I guess somehow he got through to her, even though she has 2 cowlicks up, which again, I don't know what that means just yet. And out of nowhere, she brings down the dishes just with Cone, because Cone asks her, well, you mind helping me with the dishes, just bring them down. And she does, and she brings them down. Everyone is shocked. They're stunned, like, how did you do that? Type of an expression. Now again, we see, I want to call him George. We see Gorge outside, and it's nighttime. So he's ready to pounce, jump in. Now the first person he comes across, Mirandel. And this was an amazing one-on-one battle. bull. If you did not see this, then you should watch it, because you know what? I was laughing, I was hysterically laughing. At the same time, I took this very seriously, because Miranda, she's worn out, she's tired, and Cone told everyone else to basically go to sleep, go to bed, relax, you've done enough. And Miranda, she's in the kitchen. Now obviously she's a little pissed off and tired because of all the food she was making, but it gets better. Now Gorge comes in, and she's got this little ladle, little cooking ladle, and it's hilarious. She's got this cooking utensil, and she's beating the crap out of him with it. She's like, don't screw with me. I'm pissed off, you know. Oh my god, this is just amazing. First, she scoops up some of the soup or whatever it is, hot soup, and throws it in his face, and now his face is burnt. And it gets better. She had shish kebabs, like these food that's on a stick, on these needles, and 3 of them fall on his face. Poor guy. And then dough falls on his face, and he's suffocating, and she's beating the crap out of him. Like, oh my god. Oh no, it gets better. Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna quote word for word what Miranda actually says. She tells him to crawl back into your father's balls and think it over. I was like, what? Oh, and then Gorge just ends up running. He goes. He's gone. He's like, I'm getting the heck out of here. He runs to the staircase, and he's gone. But he's going upstairs. He runs. Well, I think it was upstairs, and he runs into Sanglion, big guy by himself. Until he stands up, he thinks he's just a chump. But he stands up. He has no sword. He's like, looks like a demonic person approaching him. And then out of nowhere, he starts freaking him out. And you know, Sanglion, he's not saying anything. You see Pet. Pet is right behind Sanglion, and the ears pop out, and it freaks the hell out of Gorge, and he ends up running. Now, he runs straight into E-Carlet's room. Straight into her room. So now you've got E-Carlet versus Gorge, kind of. It's not really a full one-on-one battle, because she's sleeping, and he just notices he's in her room. He's like, you know what? Fine, I'll just take her. I'm already at my objective, I'll just take her. So he tries to take her. Just when he's peering right over her body, 3 cowlicks, 3 hairs pop up, the one that everyone's, other than Cone, was, you know, afraid of. And then E-Carlet, she has red eyes, and that's all we really see. She's like freaking, we don't know what she's doing, just it was enough to scare the heck out of Gorge. And then we take him to another scene where we see Cone taking a piss in the bathroom, literally, and Gorge comes in scared as hell and jumps all over him while he's taking a piss. He's like, it's a monster, E-Carlet's a monster. And Cone is like, yeah, he doesn't take it seriously. He doesn't know who this guy is. He thinks they must have paid, like, E-Carlet, or not E-Carlet, but Sanglion and Miranda must have paid him to scare the crap out of him. But he's like, okay, Pops, let's go in, let's check what's happening. And he sees, like, E-Carlet's not in her bed. Where is she? They're looking around, and then his the little flame on the wick of his candle goes out, and then Gorge gets jumped by E-Carlet, and a little slime hits Cone's back neck, and he doesn't know what the heck's going on. And it looks like Gorge has been defeated, but he's not dead, just defeated. And it's hilarious. E-Carlet goes right after Cone, and Cone just jumps straight through the window. And that was the end of that. It was hilarious. I thought it was well worth watching. There weren't any realistic battles other than Miranda versus Gorge, though. Now again, this means that the assassination attempt that the Olg religious sorority had was a failure. But you know, no one else really knew about it, so it really wasn't that much of a failure, since again, no one knew about it. So not even Miranda and everyone of that group, they didn't even know about it. Now, that was the last time anyone heard or saw Gorge again. But then we do a small little cutscene where we see kids on a bridge and a little old man on the bridge fishing, and he's telling these kids not to screw around or something, like a little story of don't screw around or something bad's gonna happen. It's Gorge, and he's telling the little story about the the girl with the 3 hairs who's a monster, is probably gonna get them. That was hilarious. But now, if you push past the credits, because I thought that was the end, no, if you go a little past that, you see Dukakis's men, all of, I guess, Dukakis's officers minus Varasian, and they're wondering where Dukakis is at, and how Varasian doesn't swing that way, and how they should go out drinking. Also, that Varasian is an ultra sadist. So that was kind of interesting. But again, that was the end of the episode. As for final thoughts, Wow, I don't know where to start, but I guess I'll start with the Olga religious sorority. We know nothing about them other than apparently Dukakis works for them or is in line with them allegiance-wise. I said allegiance. What I meant to say was he's allied himself with them apparently because they're the ones giving out all the orders. And it looks like they're a religious faction, but again, we don't know where. And they are aware of Cone. They do know he's labeled as a Hyperion and that he can use the Alma gear. So again, I need to know who these guys are. Now, as for where Dukakis is at, the preview shows that next episode we get to see him at a hot spring and Cone's going to be there. So that's kind of interesting. Now, I will point out one more final thought. I would love to know more about Alma Flora, that sorceress. We know nothing about her. Again, that's pissing me off. But again, that's my final thoughts anyways. As for my rating, 4 out of 5. Solid 4 out of 5. The humor was there, most definitely. A little battle, which was hilarious as well. It wasn't a serious battle, but Mirandel with the ladle. Love watching that. But again, that ends it for my rating, so 4 out of 5. And that ends it for my walkthrough review of Ixion Saga Dimension Transfer Episode 6. Now, I don't have any more walkthroughs and reviews to do, so I'm safe there. So definitely stay tuned for tomorrow or Thursday for Naruto Shippuden. But I gotta go, guys. Before I go, I gotta say it. You can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.